Good evening, everybody. I'm delighted to be here this evening celebrating the launch of Cork's first dedicated Ford store by CAB Motor Company, who have been in business since 1925 and has just celebrated their 90th year in business. So I'd like to offer my congratulations to the business and all of its employees on reaching such a fantastic milestone. CAB has been continually active within the Cork community since the business started back in 1925, working with local clubs and supporting various charitable causes. They have shown great support for St. Vincent de Paul as they very generously donate a Ford Fiesta annually to the charity. Since the upturn of the economy, thankfully there has been positivity in the business community, and it's great to see the investment and growth in business happening in Cork once again. CAB has made a huge contribution to the Cork economy and the Cork business community over the years and continues to do so with the launch of this first Ford store this evening. CAB Motor Company is the current employer of over 40 people in Cork and continues to grow today. I also think that it's very appropriate today that whilst we're launching the first Ford store in Cork, we're situated less than a kilometre from the original Ford factory. I think it's fantastic to see the companies that were originally established in Cork to still be based in Cork 90 years later and continually making contributions to the surrounding economy and community. I'd like to again offer huge congratulations to the CAB company, and I hope you can continue to benefit our community for years to come. From the office of the Lord Mayor and the people of Cork, we thank you and wish you, your company continued success into the future.
I hope I get as loud a cheer as Conor got. I know I'm only a second best to Conor Kavanagh. But I'm delighted to be here today, and when I got the invitation to be here, I said I would definitely like to be here present to congratulate Conor and the Kavanagh family for this fantastic achievement. It's a great day for them, and they've such a long tradition of business here in Cork and on this site on the Monaghan Road. So it's a fantastic day for Conor and the Kavanagh family, and really we're all thrilled for you, and we wish you well and continued success. And as the Deputy Lord Mayor has said, this site is, and this area is so synonymous with Ford. I actually grew up about, I'd say, 100 yards from here, and Fords were such a strong part of the Blackrock community. There were huge employers in Cork, specifically really in the Blackrock area. So they have a long tradition with Ford here in Cork. And as I was Lord Mayor 2005, 2006, and Fords always sponsored the Lord Mayor's car, the Ford Mondeo. So I know, Henry, or Deputy Lord Mayor, you probably have the luxury of being driven around in such a car. So really Cork Fords have done a lot for Cork. They've had a very strong presence here in Cork, and I know there's huge loyalty to the brand that is Ford. So I'm really delighted to be here to thank CAB for the employment, for the continuous investment in Cork, for the vote of confidence in Cork that this amazing showroom is, and I wish them, their employees, continued success here in Cork. Thank you, everybody, and delighted to be here with Conor and the Kavanagh family tonight. Gormina Margaret.
Deputy Lord Mayor Henry Cremin, Deirdre Clune, MEP, Ciara McMahon, MD of Henry Ford & Sons, customers, friends, and the CAB team, I would like to welcome you all here tonight to the official opening of Ireland's first Ford store. My speech tonight is about the timeline behind me, as customers are always asking what does CAB stand for and how did the Kavanagh family get involved. Well, the timeline behind me depicts most of the story. On the Kavanagh side, my grandfather, Tom Kavanagh Sr., started the business in Fermoy in 1919. I have many happy memories of him getting me interested in cars. Unfortunately, I was quite young when he passed away. My dad, Tom Kavanagh Jr., who sadly can't be with us tonight because my mother is ill, took over the business and started building. His first purchase was a garage in Charleville, McCarthy's. He renamed it Kavanagh's at Charleville and moved it to the Limerick, rebuilding a new place on the Limerick Road. In 1996, he purchased CAB Motor Company on the Lower Road in Glenmire from the Clarks. Prior to that, CAB had operated out of many locations, as again you will see from the time wall. The traffic at that stage was a two-way on the Lower Glenmire Road and caused big traffic problems. Also, even the trains were still passing at the rear of CAB and over the bridges, which absolutely caused traffic chaos. So he relocated the business where we are today, alongside the Ford plant. As a young boy, my first job in Fermoy was parcelling packages for the bus and for the post, and that's how parts were delivered in those days. I soon learned my passion for Ford was all about learning how to drive. So at around the age of 12, on a Saturday evening, I would go to the sales up on Cork Road and borrow a few second-hand keys, much to the disgust of the salesman, and practice my driving skills on a Sunday in private at the back of the garage. Some of the cars didn't look the same on Monday morning, and I'm sure Shawnee Barry, the dealer principal in Fermoy, remembers that. Welcome tonight, Shawnee and Claire. When I finished school, I did business studies, and then I just had to go back to my passion in the motor trade. I returned to Fermoy, and my dream was someday I was going to be a Billy Coleman or an RA Vatman in rallying. I learnt every aspect of the business from the ground up. I was then sent packing to Kavanagh's at Charleville. Martin Condon, the dealer principal, can't be with us tonight, but he has sent his new kid on the block, James Foley, to be here with us. Welcome, James. I spent 4 great years in Charleville and learned from Martin and his team. In 1988, when all hell was breaking loose, with Jacko's army and Ray Houghton putting the ball in the back of the English net, on a Sunday, Jackie and I were summoned to what my father was always known as in the business, to the boss's house in Fermoy, and I was given the opportunity to transfer to CAB, as a number of managers had unexpectedly retired, opening a position of dealer principal. Both Jackie and I accepted the challenge. The only problem was that we were getting married the following Saturday. On Monday and Tuesday, we frantically were trying to find a house to rent, which we did in Carrigaline, but which had no furniture. The little things that we did have in those days, we threw in the front door, and on Saturday the marriage took place, and Jackie said yes, and off to Cyprus on our honeymoon. On our return, the 3 guys which I had lived with in Charleville for those 4 years had the house sorted to the best of their ability, along with Jackie's mother, when we returned. A true story, when we were on our honeymoon, we met a lovely couple, Terry and June, and they were on the opposite sides of religion than we were. My mother was from Belfast, so I was well aware of the problems and that was going on up there at the time. And he knew that I was very nervous about coming back, because it was the only way we could fly out, and we were flying into Belfast at 11:30 on a Friday night, Saturday night, should I say. Terry left in June on the Thursday, and when we arrived in the airport on Saturday night, at 11:30, Terry was there to meet us. So we went out to the short-term car park, put all the gear into Terry's car, and drove from there to the long-term car park. And I got into my car, and Terry said, "Drive, you follow me, it's about a 20-minute drive." So on the way out of the airport, I was stopped by the RUC and the British soldiers. So they asked me where I was coming from. So I said I was coming from Greece for my honeymoon. So they asked me where was my wife. So I said, she's gone away in another car. And he asked us, was I trying to be funny? And he asked me for identification. And of course my passport was with Jackie, and I had no identification. So at that stage they hoisted me out of the car. And at this stage there was a few soldiers appeared on the scenes, and they had mirrors underneath the car. They got me to pull the bonnet, and they said, "No, I suppose you've no luggage either, have you?" So I had to open the boot, and again there was no luggage in the boot of the car. So they had me spread eagle with guns faced at me, and when I was reduced to tears, one of them turned around to me and he said, "You see the lights of that wee car up there, up the road? That's our friend Terry." Perhaps you could say it was an explosive start to the next day's leader principle in CAB. I got a warm greeting, I knew very few, and there was an elderly workforce, and retirements continued, and I started recruiting new young blood. Aidan McGrath, the parts manager, who holds the second highest sales in the country. Ruth Swanton, sales administration, who has been working 6 days a week flat out for the last number of weeks. Thanks to a fantastic sales performance of Pat Hart and all the sales teams. As teens, Pat and I ran against each other. Pat was just a little bit quicker than I. And marrying in the accounts, the list of the loyal family that have spent their working lives in CAB. I am now in CAB 20 years, and a lot of water has passed underneath the bridge. The best thing that I ever heard in those years was Ford to build cars globally. And now we are getting more and more models on the road at a faster pace. I have worked under 3 MDs in Ford. They're all on the time wall of Henry Ford and Son. Kieran McMahon, who I will introduce shortly. Eddie Murphy, who is here tonight. And Eddie Nolan, who was great to me when I started off my journey with Ford. Sadly, Eddie is not with us tonight. His sudden death at a young age rocked the Ford world. Our thoughts and our wishes are with his wife, Sintra, and family tonight. In those 28 years, it was important for me that CAB would branch out and expand. We went into the car rental and van rental, but 9/11 and insurance costs put an end to that. We also got involved in leasing, and thankfully we had the book sold before the bubble burst. I also got involved in other business opportunities, and the lesson that I learned is stick to what you know. During the good times, my dream did come true with my passion of rallying, and I was fortunate to have the opportunity to run a number of fantastic cars, the last one being R1 FMC, which was about 20 years old, but it was the first the World Rally cars, as they were called, that Ford ever built, that was driven by Carl Sainz, the World Rally champion. A lot of the staff loved it, and they gave their time for nothing over the years. We had some great times and laps, but it was still a sport, and the team always gave it their best effort to make sure the car would perform at its best. I have moved on and learned that you can buy a pair of proper jogging shoes in John Buckley Sports for just €100 that will do 450 miles, thus the marathons. Over the years, I have worked with some great people. We have a lot of very loyal customers that stretch back for generations, that have been totally the backbone of our success through the good times and the bad. A sincere thanks to you all. Last year we celebrated our 90 years after looking after Ford motoring needs in Cork. A few years ago, Ford's introduced the Chairman's Award for Excellent Service. In 2006, 7 and 8, CAB won the award, and it is a great pleasure and delight that I can announce tonight that we have won the Chairman's Award again in 2005 for customer care, and I thank you, the CAB team, but especially the customers that voted for us through the surveys you filled out in relation to the experience and service that you received. I thank you very much. Jackie and I shall travel shortly to Paris along with other Ford European dealers who have been nominated to accept this prestigious award. It's a great honour to have become Ireland's first Ford store. The Ford store is a new interactive way of experiencing Ford premium products which allow you the exclusive rights to sell the iconic Ford Mustang, the new Vignale and the Ford RS, which is due next month. Exciting times ahead. CAB have had a fantastic start to 2016 in January and February, and again I thank the CAB team for the long hours and the efforts you have put in when you were called upon. I hope for all the good times are back. I thank you for coming, and I hope you have a great night. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Kieran McMahon, the new MD of Henry Ford & Son.
Deputy Lord Mayor Henry Cremin, MEP Deirdre Clune, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I'd like to say a big thank you to Conor for his insight into CAB Motor Company over the years. Lots of history and lots of stories to reminisce on. In any event, I'm delighted to be here tonight, and you are all very welcome to this special celebration at CAB Motor Company here in Ballintemple. As you know, we're here to celebrate the launch of CAB as a specialist Ford store, the only such designated Ford dealership in the Cork region. As a Ford store, CAB joins an exclusive club of Ford dealerships in Ireland who will have the privilege of selling the Vignale range of cars as well as the exciting all-new Ford Mustang. It is a very exclusive club that CAB has joined, with just 2 other Ford dealers in the country being Ford stores. The design of the Ford store and Vignale Lounge is driven by one overriding consideration: how to enhance your experience and optimise the time you spend with us. In addition, only the best operated Ford dealerships can achieve the Ford store accolade, and that is one area in which CAB excels. As the recipient, as Conor already said, of numerous Ford of Europe Chairman Awards in a number of areas including operational excellence, customer service and after-sales service, the dealership has shown its ongoing commitment to excellence in all areas. And hot off the presses, as Conor said, we have just announced that CAB Motor Company won the 2015 Chairman's Award. So well done to Conor and all the team. This is all the more impressive when you realise that the Chairman's Award competition is run on a Europe-wide basis, so the winners are deemed the best in Europe, not just in Ireland. But then again, CAB has had a long time to get it right. Just last year, they celebrated 90 years in business. Admittedly, Conor Kavanagh hasn't been here all of the 90 years, although I'm sure sometimes he feels like he has. But seriously, just think about it. This company has been in operation since 1925. That's a rare achievement for a company in any sector in Ireland today. CAB was set up when Ford Motor Company was just 22 years old. Indeed, it was just 8 years after the Ford plant opened on the marina in 1917, the centenary of which Ford Ireland will be celebrating in April next year. So I think that's worth repeating. Henry Ford & Son Limited will celebrate 100 years in business in Cork in April next year. Conor already mentioned some places where CAB traded in the past. They traded in a lot of places, and would you believe Oliver Plunkett Street and Grand Parade are 2 of the places. You couldn't imagine that today. If you don't believe me, please come up and have a look at the pictorial history of CAB on the wall behind me, and it's absolutely fabulous. Well worth a look, and some lovely photographs as well. Although Conor says the origin of the name of the company is lost in the mist of time, my money is on the possibility that the company was initially involved in the horse and cab business before cars took the place of horses on our streets. Admittedly, the Kavanagh family only became involved in the business in 1973 when Tom Kavanagh bought the company and moved it to its present home here in Ballintemple. Tom served as dealer principal until 1988 when he handed the reins to Conor. And that brings us right up to today, where CAB Motor Company is the largest Ford dealership in Munster and as good an example of a thriving business as you will find anywhere in Ireland. And now with their designation as a Ford store, they add another accolade to their impressive history. Hopefully you already had time to absorb the Ford store environment, from the Vignale lounge in the corner to the power wall here with no less than 9 55-inch TV screens and designated hero zones in front of me. Overall, a fantastic execution of our Ford store experience. As a Ford store, CAB is one of the small number of Ford dealers in Ireland where customers can see, test drive and order the recently arrived all-new Ford Vignale and Mustang range of cars. You might be wondering, where does the name Vignale come from? Fair question. Well, here's a little short history lesson. Vignale is named after the legendary Italian coach builder Alfredo Vignale. Born in 1913, he started his company in 1948. He became famous for his elegant designs and his craftsmanship. Almost every Italian car brand duly became a client of his, including no less than Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, Maserati and Lancia. In 1973, the business was bought by Ford, so that today Ford is the owner of the brand name Vignale. So back to today and the Vignale range. So far we've only seen the new Mondeo Vignale in Ireland, but just this week at the Geneva Motor Show in Switzerland, Ford revealed the next models that will carry the Vignale badge. And that will be the S-Max, Kuga and the new Edge. As you would expect, they are all stunning cars. The Vignale range came about because our research had shown that many of our customers wanted more luxury in their vehicles, with the majority of customers across Europe opting for higher specification vehicles on Kuga, Mondeo, S-Max and Galaxy. And we did recognise the very real threat that many of the so-called premium brands made by trying to skim off our highest value customers. So the Vignale range is our response to that threat. Vignale is a new brand that enables Ford to present a different automotive experience based on 3 simple principles: time, quality and personal attention for Ford Vignale customers. Our potential Vignale customers value time more than anything else. They lead busy and demanding lives, and for them time is precious. Vignale can help these customers to maximise the value of every moment by providing superlative service that saves them time. They love quality, and we guarantee quality as a key part of the Vignale proposition, both in the premium hand finishing in the product and in the experience of being a Vignale owner. Tied up with the quality of the Vignale experience is the principle of personal attention. It is not just about the physical car itself, but the whole experience that we promise to deliver from our selected Ford stores with a dedicated Vignale lounge. With a personal Vignale relationship manager for each customer, the concept of personal attention is taken totally to a new level in the Vignale experience. Our own Vignale brand ambassador, Kevin Dundon, was due to be here tonight, but due to unforeseen circumstances, he actually couldn't make it. But we found some replacements. So I'm delighted that we've got John Wilkins, Director of CAB, and John Manning, Marketing Director, Ford of Ireland, here with us, and they're going to unveil for us the all-new Mondeo Vignale. Take it away, guys. Well done, guys. What a stunning car. My next special guest comes in the guise of a 51-year-old model. She's been in the Ford family all that time and has only got better with age and maturity. Her slender lines speak for themselves, and it is only when you get her moving that you can fully appreciate her finely tuned chassis. For far too long, we have teased you and ourselves on the arrival of the biggest motoring icon. In 2013, we announced the planned arrival of a car that has defined old and new generations since the 1960s. defined the automotive industry in the United States, host of many iconic Hollywood moments, a car that has simply defined the motor giant that is Ford Motor Company. Now, 51 years later, this car is the biggest event in the 2016 Irish motoring calendar. The wait is finally over. No longer is there the need to read or listen to the privileged few who have driven this legend, or staring at images taken from afar, or dare I say, listening to someone like me. All that now is at an end. With that, I invite Conor Kavanagh, Dealer Principal CAB, and Pat Hart, CAB's own Mustang Relationship Manager, to reveal the new face of Ford. Ladies and gentlemen, the all-new Ford Mustang. What a stunning car. The new Mustang we have here in front of us is a ruby red 312 horsepower. Please ensure you have a good poke around after the formalities. In addition, we have a second Mustang up on the higher level here in yellow. Please look at that as well. We're nearly there now. I'd now like to take you back to basics for a minute, with a look at where the motor industry is in 2016. The January 161 sales period was a huge success for the Blue Oval, as we sold over 6,000 vehicles to put us at the top of the sales chart in Ireland. We were the only brand to have 2 entrants in the top 5 models during January, with our Focus and Fiesta taking 2nd and 4th place respectively. And in the van sector, we saw a whopping 38% rise in January, and our Transit retained its title of King of the commercial vehicle market. The February market was just as buoyant, with a 38% higher industry than last year. Ford had a great February with 50% higher volume and a higher share. Hopefully, most of us can feel the economy making a comeback. However, tonight I will not use phrases like keep the recovery going or fiscal space for fear of being lynched. But what I will say is the motor industry is a key contributor to employment, regional economic activity and the exchequer, with over €1 billion contribution from new and used cars in 2015 alone. With nearly 45,000 people employed directly in the motor industry, it is a huge contributor. The motor industry is definitely coming out of the doldrums after a difficult few years, and that is good news for everybody. But more important than anything else is that Ford has rolled out a product range to die for and is leading the sales chart for 2016. So well done, everybody. Enough of the stats and the metrics. So I just want to finish by wishing Conor and his team the best of luck as CAB embarks on its next phase as a Ford store. The outlook is bright as the CAB team look forward to their next 90 years. Here's to much continued success for CAB into the future. Slán agus bantatneamh as an ihe.
Just to say, Kieran, thank you for those lovely words. Thank you. I'd like to thank Jerry and the team for organising everything. Again, I'd like to introduce you to Pat Hart. The order books are up in his office there, and we do have 1 or 2 biros around the place. Finally, I'd like to just introduce you to Seamus Harmony, who is our brand ambassador. Seamus is on the Cork senior hurling team and will be playing tomorrow evening against Dublin. Probably don't recognise Seamus without the green helmet on, but this is him. Thanks, Seamus.